Da 5 Bloods is the newest joint from the one and only Spike Lee, and it's a war film just released on Netflix. And this is the story of 4 African-American war veterans who, in the present day, go back to Vietnam. The driving force that brings Paul, Otis, Eddie, and Melvin back to Vietnam is they go searching for not only the remains of their fallen squad leader, but also there's the promise of buried treasure that they located back in the day. Our heroes, joined by Paul's concerned son, battle forces of man and nature, while they're also confronted by the lasting horrific memories and demons of the immorality of all the events that occurred during the Vietnam War. So before I get further into this review, I gotta say that there's no more perfect time in America right now for us to get a new Spike Lee joint. Now, I have a ton of respect for Spike Lee as a filmmaker because his films, all the ones he's directed, they feel wholly unique. Unfortunately, I've not seen Do the Right Thing as of this video, but a lot of my friends are telling me that I need to check it out, and I definitely do have that near the top of my list. And one of my theater professors, my freshman year, actually showed the class Chirac, because it's actually a modern retelling of the Greek comedy Lysistrata. I actually think it's kind of underrated. But Spike Lee's career started a huge resurgence with the release of BlacKkKlansman a couple of years ago when it was nominated for Best Picture. BlacKkKlansman's a really good film, but I honestly feel like Da 5 Bloods is better. Spike Lee's done it again, guys. He has created not only a film that's truly entertaining, but it's incredibly moving, and it's incredibly important, especially with the America we're living in right now. As I keep saying, Spike Lee has still got it, my friends. This is a beautifully directed movie, shot on location. It's also very seamlessly edited. It was truly, truly something to behold. The mastery on display here. For such a poignant narrative, this was definitely the right person to have behind the camera. I also have to say that personally, I am a sucker for war films. I really, really enjoy history films as well. And this film has all of that and then some. The battle scenes that we get in this film, in the flashbacks and in the present day, they're all absolutely brutal. They're very gory. And it gives the film a very, very raw, intense feel. Now, the acting in this film, my goodness. Let's talk about Delroy Lindo first as Paul, because this performance is actually quite Oscar-worthy. Lindo's passion in this role is so infectious. When he talks, he makes sure that you listen. His presence is so dynamic, and this film is not just a story of the brotherhood that these men share, but I mention him first because his character is pretty much what anchors the story, and he does an excellent job. Jonathan Majors as Paul's son David also does a really good job. Very sympathetic character that we see grow quite a bit. Norm Lewis is really good. Clarke Peters as Otis. Isiah Whitlock Jr. This cast, guys, just incredible, incredible work all around. You know something really fascinating, guys, is these leading actors are in their 60s. Unlike films that use de-aging technology like Captain Marvel or The Irishman, Spike Lee did not bother de-aging them. But you know what the amazing thing is? I didn't even notice that he didn't bother. Just the production value, everything involved in this film, everything just flowed so seamlessly. The lack of the de-aging didn't even feel like an issue. It is that crisp. Now, speaking of these flashback sequences, I gotta talk about one more actor before I continue, and that's Chadwick Boseman. I was completely unaware that Boseman was involved in this project. This is yet another MCU main actor making a brief appearance in a war film. Benedict Cumberbatch in 1917 recently comes to mind. Boseman was absolutely outstanding, but like I just referred to, his appearance in this film is very brief. He's only in about a few scenes. Most of them, and pretty much all of them actually, are flashback sequences. However, much like Delroy Lindo's character, when Chadwick Boseman speaks, he makes sure that you listen. One character, unfortunately I can't remember who specifically this was off the top of my head at the moment, but he actually says in the film, this isn't like a big spoiler, but he mentions that Chadwick Boseman's character taught us about Black history when it wasn't really popular back then. This film is so important right now, guys. That's another thing I really respect about Spike Lee's idea. It felt like a gigantic history lesson. There are times in this film when the live-action motion picture will cut to still photographs of people that the characters are referring to, and it will also cut to archived video footage of important historical figures. The good and the not so good. Can you guys tell I'm a sucker for history? I've always just been really fascinated by that subject in school. I always really enjoy learning about past events, but I am all for learning more about our history so that the same mistakes that were made in the past are never made ever again. Isn't that the whole point of history in school, though? And that's the main reason why I feel like this film is so important these days. And Spike Lee really helped to bring that historical vision to life. And I was 100% invested in the direction he was going. I think this is one of his best films, legitimately. And he's done a lot of them. Now, I do have a couple of minor issues. And I mean when I say this, these are merely nitpicks. Like I said, Chadwick Boseman's appearance in this film is very brief. I would have liked at least another scene with him because I was learning so much from all of his dialogue. I was learning a lot from everybody else's dialogue, but I don't know. It was just the way Chadwick Boseman was delivering. He got me. Hook, line, and sinker. He got me. I wanted to learn as much as I can from him. Also, I feel like there are some people that might get a little bit distracted by the consistently changing aspect ratios. Like, for example, when we're in the present day, we have the standard, 1080p HD screen. But when you go back to the Vietnam War days, the aspect ratio becomes much smaller. And I will admit, it did take me some time to get used to. I mean, I feel like even I got a little bit distracted by it because it was so constantly changing. But this is only a minor issue. I definitely got used to it. And one thing I really admire about this choice that Spike Lee makes here, you can clearly tell at one point in history we are. It's a really nice organizational tool, actually. There's a couple of films that I've seen recently that will hop back and forward in the timeline, and I just get really confused as to where we are. I was never confused. Even though the changing ratios was a little bit distracting at first, I got used to it. Guys, this movie fascinated me from beginning to end. I cannot recommend Da 5 Bloods enough, and I'm gonna give it an A. I think it's safe to say that Oscar season has begun, my friends. Definitely don't miss this one. It's on Netflix right now. If you guys are looking for more films within this whole Black Lives Matter movement to really educate yourself, I would definitely put this film near the top of the list. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning into this review. Let me know in the comments section down below what you guys thought of Da 5 Bloods, and also if you have any requests of reviews you would like to see me do on this channel, retro or otherwise, feel free to voice those down below too. Also, look out for my other new film reviews for Artemis Fowl and The King of Staten Island. And also, either late this weekend or early Monday, feel free to keep an eye out for my upload of WWE's Backlash pay-per-view review. I'm very excited to film that one, guys. I'm going to bring my buddy Tomas on the show to dig deep into the show, break it all down. I'm super excited to catch up with him and talk professional wrestling, so feel free to keep your eye out for that as well. Lots of fun stuff coming up, folks. Thank you all so much again for checking out the video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. And also, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. It really helps out the channel. You guys rock. Thank you so much once again. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.